in. From the 31-yard line. Morton with those speedy receivers, Allworth and Hayes to the right. Hayes out of the backfield. He comes with the screen to Dwayne Thomas. Thomas fumbles the football.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out the video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And just want to say, before I get started, thank you so much to everyone who's watched my videos, or maybe subscribed to my channel, or maybe give my videos a thumbs up, or maybe left a comment, or anything at all. I greatly appreciate it. I'm just trying to get my channel up and running. Anything you guys can do, I greatly appreciate it. So thank you so much. Saw another article, and I had one on the linebackers yesterday. So I saw another one is ranking the New York Giants top 10 defensive linemen of all time. So I'm like, sounds like fun. All right, so they got the top 10 here. I'm pretty satisfied with it. I mean, I really can't say one way or the other that there's somebody else that really should be in there. I mean, I got a couple of my favorites that aren't in here, but I mean, what my favorites are, they really weren't like Hall of Famers. They didn't go to all pros many times, if any. So I just got my own favorites, and they're not on here. But the top 10 they got, is a nice top 10. Very, very, very nice top 10. It's recent, and we're going back to the 50s. So got a nice flavor here to it. But just the one thing is that it's just a shame is that the way things are nowadays is with the salary cap. Hey man, if they're gonna pay you money, get the money. Good. I'm happy for the guys. It's just that team wise, it's sometimes when I was watching, you drafted a guy, and for the most part he was on your team for most, if not all, of his career. You could build a team. If you drafted just say like an offensive line, you drafted one year, you drafted a left tackle, then next year you drafted a right tackle, then you drafted a guard, then next year you drafted another guy. You could build and okay, well, we got our left tackle, and he's going to be there for the next 8, 9, 10, whatever years. Then we got the right guard. He's going to be our right guard for And for the most part, that's the way it was. I mean, nowadays it's like, if you draft too good, you guys want to get paid. So I can't blame them, but you can't afford to keep the guys. So it's kind of tough. It's like every year you're like, out of the 53 that you had last year, 20 of them are gone. So now you've only got 33 guys from last year. So it's like it's kind of takes some of the fun out of it, because it's like every year you got 10, 15, 20 new guys on the roster that you're voting for. It's never like the same team that you can, that you go every year in and year out. Now, like taking, for example, with the defensive linemen, I mean, the Giants are, and other teams as well too, but I mean, the Giants every 3-4 years, they'll draft a defensive tackle. He plays out his 4 years and he's gone. We just go back to 2000. We got Cornelius Griffin from Alabama. We drafted him in the second round. He was his rookie season. He was very good. Put him next to Keith the Hammer Hamilton, Michael Strahan on the edge there. But we had a nice defensive front, let me tell you. But he played 4 years for the Giants. His contract came up. Wanted to get paid. He went to Washington. 2003. Right? We had William Joseph. Drafted him from the U in the first round, all right? He played 4 years for us. Contract was up. Wanted to get paid. Went to Oakland. And these were all pretty much defensive tackles, right? 2006. Gotta love Barry Cofield, right? I mean, he was huge in our 2007 Super Bowl run there, right? But he was from Northwestern. Got him in the 4th round. Excellent pick in the 4th round. He played 5 years for us. Then he went to Washington, all right? In 2010. Then we got Linville Joseph, right, from East Carolina. We got him in the 2nd round. He played 4 years for us. Contract was up. He wanted to get paid. We shipped him off to Minnesota. 2013, Jonathan Hankins, another real good guy. We got him out of Ohio State in the second round in 2013. He played 4 years for us. Contract was up. Wanted to get paid. Off to Indianapolis he went. 2017, all right, Dalvin Tomlinson. Got him second round from Alabama. Played 4 years for us. Contract was up. Wanted to get paid. Can't blame him. Well, we're not going to pay you, so off to Minnesota. So it's just a shame because, like the way it is with the salary cap and all, sometimes it's tough to get like guys on your team for a decent amount of time, especially the tackles nowadays because they're a lot easier to replace, so to get some guys on this top 10 list, somebody's like the 6 guys I just rattled off, like they don't have it, they'll never get on this list at all because they only played 4 years for us. After the first 4 years, they want, on their rookie contract, they're only making maybe whatever, $1 million or so a year. When a contract's up, rookie contracts, and they want to get paid $8 to $12 million a year or whatever it is, we're not paying them. So see you later, But all right, let's get to the top 10. All right, drum roll, please. Now, top 10. Yeah, this is all subjective. All right, they got JPP. All right, see, if you think about what he could do, man's a freak. No two ways about it. Absolute freak. He was with us from 2010 to 2017. Remember he had the fireworks accident that screwed up his one hand. But while he was with us, he had 58.5 sacks. He had 16.5 sacks in the Super Bowl season, 2011. Right, obviously he was a Super Bowl champion. Good for him. He was a Super Bowl champion last year with Tampa Bay, so good for him. But this is subjective. If you're talking about what the guy could do, there's not many more athletic guys on this list here that he couldn't outbeat. I was going to go over the rest of them, but the man was a freak. So this is just subjective. Then we got number 9. All right, Jim Ketkavich. All right, he was with the Giants from 1956 to 1968. He was his rookie season, 56. He was on the Giants championship team. He was a 3-time All-Pro, and he was a 3-time Pro Bowler from 1961 to 63. That's when he had his really good seasons. Now I was looking up on Pro Football Reference. All right, and now I'm not sure how to get the stats and all that stuff. Obviously, because sacks aren't, weren't until 1982 an official stat. So sometimes the stats you get for sacks are a little sketchy sometimes. But 1962, this is a 14-game schedule. Okay, 1962, they said he had 16 sacks. 1963, in the 14-game schedule, he had 20.5 sacks. So you figure that out, that's almost 23 or 24 sacks in a 16-game schedule. All right, that's pretty impressive. Then he finished that up with 1964, he had 13.5 sacks. So he was a sacking machine. I think he had like 91 career sacks or so, but on Pro Football Reference, his first 4 years, 56, 57, 58, 59, they didn't have sack total numbers for him. I don't know why they don't have him in the 50s, but they had him in the 60s. I don't know how they get their stats. But, they had him having like about 91 sacks, but that was all in the 60s. So he easily probably, in his career, had over 100 sacks. So Jim Ketkavich was part of the Giants' defensive front from 1956 to 1962. All right. They went to 5 championship games in those years, 56, 58, 59, 61, and 62. Those 5 years, those 5 seasons I just mentioned, they all went to championship games. But he was part of like the Giants' defensive front, which was Dick Modzelewski, Jim Ketkavich, Rosie Greer, Andy Robustelli. They were a phenomenal foursome. There was 3 times that they led the league in giving up the fewest points in a season. So he was very, very instrumental to the Giants going to the championship. They went to the championship in his career. They went 6 times in his career. They lost 5 of them, but they had a great defensive front back then. So we're going to have some more of that flavor here. All right, now we got the number 8. All right, is Rosie Greer. Rosie Greer was from 55 to 62. 55 to 62. Once again, they went to 5 championship games. Right, he was part of Rosie Greer was a part of he was a defensive tackle. He was part of the Giants' 56 championship season. He was a 3-time All-Pro, and he was a 2-time Pro Bowler. After 1962, he got traded away. He was 31 years old. He got traded away to the Rams because the Giants wanted to try to start getting a little bit younger. But good for him, because when he got traded to the Rams, if you've ever heard of the fearsome foursome, Rosie Greer was part of that. It was Merlin Olsen, Lamar Lundy, Rosie Greer, and the great late Deacon Jones. So he went from the Giants' defensive front, which was very, very good, to the fearsome foursome. So Rosie Greer is an outstanding defensive tackle. Then we got number 7 on this list here. Okay, we've got Justin Tuck, all right, 2-time Super Bowl champion. He was with the Giants from 2005 to 2013. 2-time Pro Bowler, 2008, 2010. First team All-Pro in 2008. Without him and Strahan and OC and JPP, all, Freddie Rock, all those guys, we never would have won those 2 Super Bowls. It was the defense that got us there. You hold the Patriots to, low point totals like they did in those Super Bowls, the defense. And it was not only the defensive front all with the run, but the pressure that they got. Now also, Justin Tuck is also, the only person in Super Bowl history with multiple sacks in multiple Super Bowl games. So when the game was big, he showed up. And we owe him a lot for our 2 Super Bowl victories. Thank you, Justin. Number 6 on our list is Leonard Marshall. He played from 1983 to 1992. 2-time Super Bowl champion, 1986 and 1990. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler in 85 and 86. His 15 sacks he had in 1985. He was the defensive lineman of the year. All right, and let's not forget, all right, in the 1990, have you ever seen the highlights of the 1990 championship game against the 49ers? The way they have it, you see, there's a picture of Joe Montana. He's scrambling out to the side. He's like looking downfield, and the camera's like on him here. You look in the background, Leonard Marshall's on the ground. Okay, Leonard Marshall gets up, right, and you just see him like this, and Joe Montana's kind of scrambling, and in front of Joe Montana is Lawrence Taylor. So Joe Montana runs, and then he stops, right? And Lawrence doesn't come in and isn't able to make the sack, but he forces Joe Montana to stop, because if Joe Montana could have kept running toward the sideline, maybe throw a pass or something like that, things would have been different. But because Lawrence Taylor made Joe Montana stop, right? He stopped, and he collected, and he was getting ready to throw a pass. So he stopped, and you see in the background Leonard Marshall, and Joe Montana's getting ready, and just as he's getting ready to throw the ball, Leonard Marshall drills him in the back, knocks him out. He's out of the game. They have to bring Steve Young in, but what a hit! The Giants played the 49ers many times in the 80s and the 90s. Okay, but 2 times in 1986 and 1990, they knocked him out of the game. Just killed him. Joe Montana, man, they massacred the guy. But Leonard Marshall definitely deserves to be on his list. He was very, very instrumental in our 2 Super Bowl victories. So he's number 6. Number 5, come on, OC, you gotta love him, huh? OC Umenyiora, 2000. He played from 2003 to 2012. He had 75 career sacks for the Giants. 2-time Super Bowl champion. I said, he's a 2-time Pro Bowler, right? But as I said, OC, Justin, JPP, Michael, all those guys. The defensive front was so instrumental in us winning those Super Bowls, and the playoff runs that we had too. They were phenomenal. And let us not forget that he had that 6 sack performance against Donovan McNabb and the Eagles. I think that the tackle he went against was like a 37 string tackle. I mean, so it wasn't like the starting tackle for the Eagles. You know, I mean, he was a second or third stringer. But OC ate him up. He got 6 sacks in the one game. I almost felt sorry. I hate the Eagles, but I did almost feel a little sorry for McNabb, because every time he went back to pass, OC was just burying him into the ground. So OC Umenyiora, number 5 on our list. Number 4. Now we're going back in the day here. We got Arnold Weinmeister. Okay, he played from 1950 to 1953. From 50 to 53. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler. He played All-American Football Conference for 2 years, from 1948 and 49. Then 50, 51, 52, and 53, he played with the Giants. 54 and 55, he went to the Canadian Football League. So basically, between the All-American Football Conference and the NFL, he only played 6 seasons, basically, professional in the United States. And he's in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the shortest tenured guys, okay, to play professional football in the United States and be in the Hall of Fame, right? So he was very, very good. I don't have any sack totals on him because, as I said, he played in the early 50s. When he was with the Giants from 50 to 53, the Giants didn't go to no championship games at all. Pretty much that was all the Browns. The Browns went to the championship 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, and 55. The first 6 years that they were in the NFL, they went to the NFL championship game. So he didn't play any championship games, but the time that he's with the Giants, he was a 4-time Pro Bowler. He did a phenomenal job, and that's why they have him. And he's in the Hall of Fame, and so that's why he's number 4 on the Giants list here. Number 3, George Martin. Everybody loves him. 1975 to 1988, he's the Super Bowl champion, right? 1986. In his career, all right, from 75 to 88, he only missed 6 games in his entire career. He was, you can depend upon him. Okay, he was like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, you can just depend upon him. He's sort of good, and he's sort of bad. When he first came in 75, the mid 70s, the Giants were unbelievably pathetic. Not so much the defense. The defense always tried to keep him in games, but their offense was so horrible. It was painful to watch. George Martin heard a lot of boos. A lot of boos. But he wound up ended up his career, okay, in 1988, all right, but that was after, they won the Super Bowl in 1986. So he certainly deserves to be on this list. Number 3. Number 2, got Andy Robustelli. Okay, he's part of that group of players from the Giants, right, from 1956 to 1962, where they had Andy Robustelli, Rosie Greer, Jim Katcavage, Dick Modzelewski, those 4 guys, all right. Andy Robustelli played with the Giants from 56 to 64. They got him from the Rams. All right, so he's a 2-time Super Bowl NFL champion, not Super Bowl, NFL champion. He won a championship with the Rams, and he won one with the Giants in 1956. All right, he's a 6-time first-team All-Pro. Okay, he's a 7-time Pro Bowler. All right, and he got the Burt Bell Award in 1962 for the best player in the NFL, and he's a Hall of Famer. And he had many a sack during his career. He was a defensive end, and he always raised havoc. He was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And the Giants owe him a big debt of gratitude for the service that he gave. He did it. Number 81, coming in off the edge, did a phenomenal job. During his time with the Giants, we got the 6 championship games. We only won the one, 1956. 58, 59, 61, 62, and 63. We lost them all, but we got the 6 championship games while he was here. So, thank you, Andy. He was number 2. And number 1, of course, it was like with the linebackers. If you had to ask which linebacker was number 1, I can't help you. If you don't know Michael Strahan's number 1, I can't help you. Michael played from 2003 to 2007. Obviously, 2007 he got his Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, right? Got his Super Bowl ring and rode off into the sunset. He's in the Hall of Fame. He finished his career with 141.5 sacks. All right, 2001, he set the NFL record with 22.5 sacks, right? And, you know, he was just the epitome of a defensive end. I mean, he just wasn't sacks, right? He could play the run just as well as he could play the pass. I mean, he could do it all. He was phenomenal. I mean, you know, if you didn't run the ball to the other side, chances are if you're trying to run the ball at him, you aren't going to gain any yards. Michael Strahan was huge, especially his last season and what he was able to do in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, get the pressure on the quarterback, especially the pressure on Brady in the 2007 Super Bowl. Oh, man. Michael, thank you so much. So that wraps up the top 10, and I think Michael Strahan certainly deserves to be number one. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there, and go Giants. Woo!